Welcome into episode 84 of JD's Empire Sports Talk. JD here, of course, with Biggie. Once again, we are going on a back-to-back tonight. Unlike NBA players, we show up both nights, right, Biggie?
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, I know we love cracking the jokes with the NBA, but it is true. We're not going to talk at really much NBA at all tonight, just because last night was basically all NBA for the whole night.
For the most part, yeah.
Besides the other shenanigans we had going on, throughout the night, but for mostly NBA. So we'll lay off the NBA. We'll give that a break. When we get to how you doing, I'll be halfway through the show. I will talk about the Knicks, just what I think of the whole situation with the not hanging up the banner and stuff like that. But I'll hold that off for now. We'll start with the NFL. We'll go to MLB, NHL, and then college football, which is we're gonna give love to every bowl game that is being played. So there's been a few played already. We will do that because I know Biggie loves that. So we got a big one.
We got a good one tonight, JD. We'll talk about it.
And I believe there's one going on right now, actually, too. I believe. I believe there's one. I think South Florida is actually playing right now. Yeah, you could throw it on. And then Delaware is tonight. And then we have some other bowl games throughout the weekend. Of course, the CFP, which everyone's looking forward to. I know I did say a few weeks ago I wouldn't watch, but I will watch, actually. I can't resist.
A little bit, I know.
Yeah. And then we'll have our brackets out on Friday before, me, Biggie, CT, and Jet Specialist, Mr. Ryan, will have his bracket out as well. And then we'll do the pick 'em later on. We're going to pick 3 NFL games. And then I'll say it now just in case, people miss it later on. By the end of the CFP, it'll just be me and Biggie in for this. Whoever has the better, we'll do it like a point system or whatever. Whoever has the better looking bracket, we will get 3 extra wins onto our standings. Or like say I lose, I'll be 18-16, say, and Biggie will become 14-20. So cut into the, because I have a big lead on Biggie after last week. I clean sweep. So Biggie needs some help. He needs some help here. So that's why we'll do 3 NFL games this week. And I figured not to pick the college games just because, we're going to pick them anyway. So there's no need to do it twice. We're already going to see that. So, yeah, we'll hold off on that until later on. But let's start with the NFL, where we had some massive injuries and a new QB being benched, which is going to signal, I would say, the end of his career in that particular organization as well. So Tua Tagovailoa, he's officially benched as the Dolphins QB for the last 3 weeks. They lost Monday night to the Steelers. They're officially eliminated from the playoffs, which, no one was taking them seriously anyway, making the postseason. They were not a good team. Yeah. They were just, they have 6 wins. They beat the Jets twice, the Saints, the Commanders and 2 other teams, Falcons and someone else. So they didn't beat
nothing,
anyone,
crazy. I mean, if they won, it would have, they would have, but no one really thought they were going to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that in the weather, Pittsburgh was freezing, all that stuff. A lot was going wrong for Miami, and now it's officially to the end here. So Biggie, we can go through some scenarios here. I would say, I know we're definitely going to agree on this. If you're benching the guy the last 3 weeks of the year, that means you're moving on from him when the season is over, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, because this was like, it's a little different. But remember how I was talking about Kyler Murray, how they basically, I mean, he was injured, but he could have played. And they kind of just, this is exactly what's happening here in Miami, especially making him the emergency quarterback too. He's not even the second.
Yeah, not even literally 2 quarterbacks who have to get hurt in one game for him to even sniff the field, and that very rarely happens at all, really. And in the NFL nowadays. So Quinn Ewers will take Quinn Ewers or whatever people like to call him. He will take over. He was at Texas last year. It was I think it was a 6th-round pick in this past draft. He did play in the preseason a little bit, was not impressive. But, I mean, when you have Zach Wilson as your other quarterback on the roster, I mean, you're not picking from, gold. You have 2 guys that aren't really that good compared to even Tua. Tua just needs a fresh start. Because I feel like Tua has, he's shown, the beginning of his Miami career, he was pretty good for the Dolphins. Like, he got them to the postseason. He was always, getting better. And then last year, he has always struggled with the injuries. Let's say that. He has. But this year, it was just the writing was on the wall. You could just tell. He lost Tyreek Hill early in the year, and after that, it was just downhill from there. So, what do you think, or where do you think maybe Tua can actually play next year? And will he be a starter? Because I think he will get one more shot at starting. I don't know if I think it will be next year, but it may not be. But I don't know.
Next year. I mean, the writing's on the wall. It's going to be next year. They're getting rid of him this offseason. I'm telling you right now.
But I'm saying, like, where do you think Tua can actually, go to? Because he's going to have to be cut, and he will sign with a team. There's going to be a team out there that, looks at their quarterback situation and be like, you know what, Tua's not great, but he's better than what we have.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
But I don't know what teams that'll be.
Yeah. Where does he go? I'm just trying to think here. New Orleans,
maybe, but I mean, it seems like they like what they've seen from
Show. Tyler Show. I mean,
he's been okay.
Time quarterback, but he's playing pretty well. So I don't know if they might want to build him up. I don't really know, man. That's the problem. Where would he go?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it all day. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Colts.
Maybe because Daniel Jones is going to be hurt, and they probably don't want to go out and get someone that's going to be long term because they want to bring him back.
Right.
Maybe
Daniel Jones isn't long term there. Let's be honest. Even if he comes back,
I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, maybe Pittsburgh if Rodgers hangs it up.
Yeah,
maybe
Pittsburgh might be an option. Possibly.
But he can't play in the cold, so that's the thing. You got to take that.
Right. You'll have to get used to it. But no, honestly, I could see if the Saints want, if they don't think Tyler Show is the future for them, maybe they go get him in a big deal. I think possibly maybe the Steelers, maybe that's also another option. And then, that's really about it. Maybe the Colts, possibly.
Yeah, I really
don't
know.
There's a lot of teams right now that would need that need a quarterback like that. Besides, well, maybe the Jets too, JD. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And I don't think. And you know what? I would not want him to go to the Jets because that would be another failure.
Yeah, that wouldn't end well. We could see.
I could see that from my quarterback. So
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't really know other teams off the top of my
head.
That's
the only three really, because everyone else kind of has their guy. Like the Browns they're going to roll with Shador. You know that. Because he's been playing pretty good. And everyone else just has their guy. I mean, there's no other teams that are like, you don't see them having another quarterback for the next season.
At least for now, we're gonna have to, we have to wait to see if coaches get let go and stuff like that. We're gonna have to wait.
Oh, yeah, that's also gonna play a factor.
That's a big thing. Yeah. You never know. I mean, you never know. Maybe Miami fires McDaniel and the new coach comes in and be like, you know what? I want to. You don't know that.
Let's try and revamp him a little bit.
Yeah. We got to see. We got to wait and see for that. But a lot up in the air for Miami. I mean, I think for them, they just need to kind of rip it down and start new. That's something that they don't really do a lot. They kind of try to throw Band-Aids. Yeah, they have to. They're like, it kind of seems like, you may win your 6 to 9, 6 to 10 game win every year, but that's not going to be sustainable. And they don't win. Then
that doesn't even get you in the playoffs.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. So you're stuck in the middle of yeah, we may make the playoffs or we're just going to miss it. And you're going to be in that range of drafting in the middle of the first round every year. And you gotta start from scratch. I mean, unless they can go out there and make some big moves. But I mean, if you're cutting Tua, because that's what they're going to have to do, that's like 50 something million on the roster. That's not there. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're paying someone that's not even on your team. So that's gonna hurt them a little bit. Other NFL news we got was Patrick Mahomes. He tore his ACL Sunday afternoon against the Chargers. So that was the end of the Chiefs season and also his, which is unfortunate for him. Obviously, we're never going to root for injuries, but I mean, for us, I think we're kind of happy the Chiefs are actually eliminated because
there's two sides to that. You know, you feel bad for Mahomes getting hurt, but you're so happy that the Chiefs are not in the playoffs. You're just happy.
I mean,
thank God.
First time in like over a decade. So it's something like, you know, we're going to see, and would they make the last 3 Super Bowls, I believe. So we're going to see a different, you know, we're going to see something different from the AFC than the Chiefs all the time, or it can be a little, exactly. A little different. He's already undergone that surgery, so he'll probably be back maybe in the beginning of the year. We got to see how his rehab goes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and hopefully that's all good. I mean, obviously you don't like that. You're happy that the Chiefs aren't in, but you also want to you don't want to, you want to see a generational talent like Mahomes come back. You know what I
mean? 100%. And the Chiefs are probably going to go towards they're never going to rebuild when you have a quarterback like that. But a retool. They're gonna look very, very different next year. I would expect the Chiefs to look very different.
I think so too.
I think the veterans are gonna, I don't think they're gonna force them out, but I think they're gonna be like, you know what, Chris Jones, I think our time's up with you. We're gonna move on.
Travis
Kelce, I think, is actually gonna hang him up himself.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think he's done, and I think Chris Jones is gonna be, shipped out somewhere else. The receiver room is very good. I mean, they have pieces. They just need to get a little younger at certain positions. And the defense, I feel like with the defense, they have a lot of veterans that, they played well, of course. I mean, you're making Super Bowls and stuff like that. You've played well, but I think their time, is up, and they need to just retool the roster, be a little cheaper around Mahomes, younger players, draft well, and hopefully it's kind of what happened with Brady. Brady got hurt in literally the same year in his career, year 9. And that was kind of like the second. It was a couple of years after, but the second wave of the Patriots dynasty was when that roster got younger and Brady, was able to be the veteran for those guys. So
and I think they need to upgrade their O-line too.
They have. I mean, we've seen it. Of course, you were happy in the Super Bowl, but the Eagles D-line, that was the preview of what was going to happen this year. I mean,
their offensive line in that Super Bowl, that was one of the worst offensive line performances I've ever seen. They got
it was bad.
The Eagles defensive line was in there all game. Like there were some plays where I saw their tackles just get driven back like 5-6 yards, and I'm like, you guys are NFL level tackles, and you're getting freaking bull rushed by these D linemen. It's like, wow, like it was insane. Like as a former O lineman, I was like, wow, this is a poor performance. This is horrible.
Yeah, they had no chance, and that was just a preview. They thought they got better, but they didn't. Obviously, than this year.
No.
Yeah, they did not get better. So the Chiefs got 3 games left. They're going to ride it out with Gardner Minshew, whatever they're going to do with that.
My guy. I love him. I do. I 2 of them don't fit me anymore because they're too big. Before anyone makes jokes, they're too big, not too small. I have his Jags jersey, I have his Eagles jersey, and I have his Colts jersey.
Wow, big Gardner Minshew.
I was going to get the Raiders one, but I forgot. And then when he got traded to Kansas City, I'm like, all right, I'm not doing this. I was going to get one for every team he was on. But I stopped in Oakland or Las Vegas because I I forgot. And then when he got traded to the Chiefs, I'm like, all right, I'm not doing this because watch, he'll go to the Cowboys next. I told my mom, Mom, he's going to go to the Cowboys next. Watch.
Yeah, he'll be on a different team next year. He's just one of those guys at this point in his career, but he'll have 3 games to show what he's got. So we'll see. Micah Parsons also tore his ACL. So 2 guys that are, probably top 15 players in the whole league. And he's done for the year as well. The Packers are at 9-4-1 right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to, overcome it, because you saw even in the game against Denver, they were winning that game when he was in. He got hurt, and the defense did not look the same. Because, it's not just him. Yeah, he's a great player. He has 13 sacks or whatever. But he made everyone else, better around him. Now he's not there. That attention is not on him, and everyone else has to step up. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. And their schedule the rest of the way, they got the Bears on the road, which is Saturday night. That's a really tough game. And they already beat the Bears. It's very hard to beat a divisional opponent twice. We always talk about that. To sweep a divisional opponent, very hard. So that's going to be tough, for the Packers. The Ravens at home, which I mean, the Ravens are going to be playing for literally their lives of the season next week.
Yeah.
And then the Vikings, the Packers are at the Vikings the last week of the year. I mean, and the Vikings, yeah, they're you don't know what team's going to show up. They can look great or they can look like the worst
on Sunday night.
Like, yeah, they look pretty good. I mean, they looked good the week before as well. So like, you
don't
know what?
Good.
Yeah, he did. Nine looked really good. I mean, you don't know with the Vikings, so that's not even an easy game for the Packers either. Yeah, so now, I don't know if Biggie, do you think they can you think they can still get in the postseason? Because I'm going to talk about a team in a little bit, but the Lions are right there. They're coming for them.
They are. Yes, I know the defense is different. I know all that stuff, but I just think their offense is too good not to. Like, this Packers offense is better than last year. I'll tell you that right now.
It definitely is.
More powerful. It's scarier, I think. The defense is going to take a toll. I honestly, and I think we've discussed it with our fellow Packer fan friend, shout out Jake Jones. We've, discussed with him, this team could go to the Super Bowl with the defense combination, with the combination of how good the defense is this year and how powerful that offense is. But now you take that factor out. I think they're still going to make the playoffs. They're still going to make a little noise, but they're not going to make a Super Bowl. They're not going to now. I don't think that's in the cards. It was with Micah, but now that he's out, I think that's out of the cards. I think they still can make the playoffs. I think their offense is just too good not to. Yeah. But this game this week is very telling. The Bears. I know they already beat them, but the Bears haven't really fallen off much, to be honest.
Yeah, and the Bears are in first place.
Yeah,
and the Bears are back in first place.
Thought they were going to, and they haven't yet. So
yeah, they've shut down all the haters right now. The Bears are 10-4 in first place. They win this game, they probably win the division. The way the rest of the year is going to go. So Saturday night, big game for the Packers and the Bears as well, which we'll get to. But let's do around the league, a little recap of Week 15, and then we'll get into some other stuff that we're going to talk about and have to watch throughout this week and pretty much the rest of the year. There's only 3 weeks left in the regular season, which is crazy to even say, but that's the truth at this point. Let's go back to Thursday night where the Bucks played the Falcons. Bucks, they lost to the Saints last week, the week before, I should say, and then they play the Falcons. You're like, okay, you got another game at home. Got to try to get on the board, and they lost again. I don't know what is wrong with them. But, for Todd Bowles to get animated, that's how you know something is not right, because that guy is – I mean, I've seen him, when he was the Jets coach. He was always like a calm guy. Even when those teams sucked, he didn't even really show anything. And with the other night, I mean, he let loose, and he was not happy about it. And the Bucks right now are 7-7. They're very lucky the Panthers lost to the Saints, that's another game that was – I don't know how that happened. But – both of those teams, it's like the division that no one actually wants to win at this point. And both of those teams at 7-7. And the Falcons, I mean, Kirk Cousins is actually kind of showing he can still play. I mean, people thought that he was kind of, should retire after last year. And then, he got benched last year. And then coming into this year, he's the backup on the team he used to be a starter for, which is not very, normal. You don't really see a guy that was a starter for a team for a couple of years stay on the same team and not be the starter. You don't really see that a lot. And he stuck around. Michael Penix got hurt. And then Kirk Cousins, he comes back. And he's playing well. And I don't know if it's going to be for them next year, but he will be on a team. I don't know who it's going to be, but I think he has a chance at still starting games. And because he's just a calming presence. And he still can, like I said, he actually could still play. He threw for 373 yards Thursday night. So he obviously could still play. Let's go to Sunday where we had the Bears beating the Browns 31-3. So, I mean, this is expected for the Bears to win, but the way they did was very, very impressive. Caleb Williams throwing the ball all over the place. DeAndre Swift looked great. Bears defense, once again, they forced turnovers like the best in the league. They actually might be on a historic pace, the amount of interceptions they have. It's incredible what the Bears have been doing, this year. And Shador is showing, he's showing some things. I just don't know if the situation he's in is the best for him just because, they don't have much talent there. It seems like, Stefanski doesn't really care for him too much. I mean, Biggie, did you see that Shador had the wrong, play sheet or wristband? I couldn't believe it. How does that happen?
He's playing good, okay? He's been playing well and, silencing the doubters. I just don't. It's the ego, man. It's the whole thing. We saw it leading up to him getting drafted. That's what it is. He's talented, but there's so much baggage that comes with him, you know? It's not on display now, but I think it's starting to, it's getting there a little bit now that he's actually playing good.
Yeah, if it wasn't for, if he had a good game Sunday against the Bears to beat the Bears, he would have been even more, with the ego. But he got humbled a little bit. Ravens beat the Bengals 24-0. So the Ravens, come out there. They're still trying to, hang on in their game out of first place. Joe Burrow doesn't seem like he's interested in playing for the Bengals anymore, or even ever, actually. The way he's been talking lately, he may actually hang it up. I don't believe it until I see it, but it doesn't seem like Joe Burrow will be playing for the Bengals next year. Let's put it that way. I do not think that that relationship is going to be lasting any more than the last 3 weeks of the year. Chargers, like we talked about before, beat the Chiefs. They ended their season. Chargers at 10 wins now, so they're playing for, wild card positioning because the Broncos keep winning, so it's very hard for them to get to the division. But still, the Chargers will be in the postseason. Bills beat the Patriots 35-31. This is the best game of the week.
A great game, wasn't it?
Great game. I mean, we talked about this. We both picked the Bills in our picks last week. We said that, the Patriots they're a very good team. They have the potential to do it in the postseason, but the Bills still have the veteran experience in games like that. And they went down 21-0, and they weren't even worried about it. They're like, you know what? Okay, we're down 21-0. It's fine. We can come back. We have Josh Allen.
Yeah, right.
They were fine.
That too. Right. And I'll tell you this. I don't know how much we're going to go into it, but now we're kind of going around the league, so I think it'd be a good time to bring it up. I think that the AFC is so wide open, really.
It is.
It's not really it's not very competitive. I think the Bills should have that in the bag. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think it's in the bag for them. For them, it has to be.
I mean, you look at the teams. Yeah, Denver's good. They have a flaw.
I'm not fully sold on them.
I'm not either. I know they're 12-2, but I'm not sold on them either. I don't know.
Coming. The playoffs are going to come, and it's going to be, here's how I look at it. This is Buffalo's best shot to win the Super Bowl.
It is.
Kansas City, and all the good teams have young, inexperienced quarterbacks and inexperienced teams. Yeah, the Patriots are really freaking good. Drake May is really good. But it's only second year playing. Same with Bo Nix. I mean, you can't rely on those guys yet. Obviously, I think the Patriots will win a Super Bowl within the next 3 years. Quote me on that. Same with the Broncos if they keep it up. But you know what I'm saying? I just think you take a team like the Bills who have been there year in, year out, but the only thing they haven't been able to do is beat Kansas City. You take Kansas City out of the equation.
There. Yeah.
This is their year to do it. And I think if whoever they play in the NFC, because the NFC is so confusing right now. I don't know what to expect out of it. But the AFC, I see the Bills going to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I could clear as day say that right now.
I agree. They have the best chance they've had so far. The only thing I could go back at you is they have to win, or probably gonna have to win 3 games on the road. That's tough. That's very tough. But they're capable. They're more than capable.
They are. Yeah. And it's also tough too because Buffalo is huge home field advantage.
It is, but they're not going to have it.
I think they could do it because remember the game on Sunday was in New England.
It was on the road and they did it. Yeah,
right. Yeah, there you go.
They beat Pittsburgh I know Pittsburgh's nothing special this year, obviously, but they beat Pittsburgh on the road, so they've been in the tough environments. Like I said, they could do it, but winning 3 playoff games on the road is very, 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 very hard. So that's the thing. We'll see. But they have all the the recipe for success to do it. Giants lost to the Commanders 29-21. This is a game that I think that both teams obviously are out of it. They have no chance. But I really, really thought that the Giants. This is a game for the Giants. You'd be like, yeah, we don't win. We haven't won many games obviously this year. But even go out and win a division game. Show that you can do a little something. And it seemed like Jackson Dart. He played okay. I wouldn't say he played bad. I wouldn't say he played great. But, I feel like he tried to do too much. He tried to be Superman when he didn't have to be. And the Giants defense, man, they just need a new voice. They need a whole new regime there just to get these guys to play better because they have talent and they're not living up to it. I don't know what it is, but they're not living up to it at all. At least Abdul Carter actually showed up and played because he played pretty well his first game that he actually played good this entire season. He waited till, week 15 to do that. Then Biggie's Eagles won 31-0. This is a perfect game for them to get right. I know you don't take much stock into it, but they look good. I got to say that. They look good.
Well, here's the thing. That's them. Where has that been all year? That's the Philadelphia Eagles. That is that team. That's having the best running back in the NFL. That's having a top 5 receiver. That's having another top 10 receiver.
And using them and actually using them.
That's having a lot of heat for this, a top 10 or above starting quarterback.
I mean,
sorry,
he's done it. He's done it.
He's done it. Right. Not this year as much, but we know Jalen Hurts is capable of being a top 5 quarterback. We know that. Not this year. He's having a pretty bad season, let's be honest. But I also think that plays into a factor, and I've said this so many times. The Eagles, I don't like Kevin Patullo. He's been doing well. Okay, so the last couple of games, he's actually been doing all right. Like the Chargers game, that was all Jalen Hurts. You can't blame Patullo for that.
5 turnovers. You can't blame anyone but the quarterback.
Right. Yeah, he actually called a really good game because there are some things that he should be doing, but he's not, and it's why we haven't been that team that we were last year when we won the Super Bowl. Even the year when Shane Steichen was our OC and we made the Super Bowl with lost to the Chiefs, like the one 2022.
Yeah,
like,
the first one.
You look at that, like Saquon Barkley. Let's run him up the middle. Oh, he gets stuffed. All right, let's do it 3 more times. Let's do it 2 more times. Punt. All right. AJ Brown. All right. AJ Brown, go run a 9 and have Jalen Hurts have to throw a 50-yard bomb to you in the end zone. Picked off. That's not his strengths. And people have said, well, AJ Brown, that's what he's supposed to do, right? No. You see the size of that guy? You know what type of he's a physical receiver. You want to get guys like that in space. Slant routes, slant route, slant route. Get him in space and it's over. They started doing that against the Chargers, and that's when we started getting, some positive plays. When you just air it out to him deep every time, especially Jalen Hurts being inconsistent as he is throwing the deep ball. And it's just, you need to get guys like AJ Brown in space. You need to do some outside zone with Saquon. Like, our offensive line is just not as good as it was last year. Lane Johnson being in and out hurts. Fred Johnson is, I can honestly say, one of the worst offensive linemen I've ever seen. He's just not.
You remind me every time they play. It's funny.
Yeah, like he's not. That power up front is just not there. And trying to run Saquon up the middle every single time just isn't working.
No,
run some outside zone with him. Like, seriously, run a stretch play, run outside zone to the left, preferably with Jordan Mailata blocking as your lead blocker. But run those type of plays and then run the option, please. I saw it one time against the Raiders, and I really haven't seen it all year. Please run her because he's very good at running the football. This year he's been pretty bad. Like, I'll even go to Morty's comment here. This year he hasn't been good this year at all. Like, I'll be honest with you, he really has not been playing that well. And I think it's reliant. And a good quarterback should be able to throw. I know that's definitely all true, but you have a guy like Jalen Hurts that's dangerous on his feet. Even when he's not at his best, he's dangerous on his feet regardless. Run the option. Run it. Run QB power. Just do it. Like, seriously, we have to get Hurts back on his feet a little bit more because you can't rely on him to throw deep balls all the time. Like, he's too inconsistent for that. And that's why I didn't even say he was a top 5, possibly top 10 quarterback. Could be. I said could be. You know what I mean? Because this year he's not playing like that. So, yeah. And the Raiders that's just oh my God, that's one of the worst football teams I've ever seen. Jesus
they're one of the worst teams in probably the history of football. They're pretty bad.
So bad for Ashton Genty and Max Crosby, bro, because they do so much, but their team is so bad.
Yeah,
and the Raiders have the worst offensive line I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like
that was a rough game, and another rough game we had.
Offensive line performance from the Super Bowl last year every week.
Yeah,
like literally. I think there was a play where their right guard literally got bull rushed into the ground by. I want to say it wasn't BG. No, BG had 2 sacks though. Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham had 2 sacks. I'm trying to think who but their right guard got driven into the ground. Like, literally, like, he got pancaked on offense. Like, that's bad. That does not happen.
Jacksonville then beat the Jets 48-20. So back-to-back games we're going to talk about here that were not not very good. And I don't know why I did it, but I actually sat there and watched till the end. Nothing positive from that. The only actually one positive was that Steve Wilkes was fired. This is coming probably 8 weeks too late, but he's gone. He was never good for this team coming in. Thankfully, he is out, and they're going to be getting a new DC in the offseason, which kind of helps the the case a little bit, because that was a very, very, very rough game to watch. Texans beat the Cardinals 40-20. I think the Texans started out winning this game like 21-0, something like that. They scored like 14 points in the first like 2 or 3 minutes of the game. Houston is on a really good streak right now. Their defense probably the best in the league. I think we can both agree on that. If not the best, top 3, I would say, with the way Houston's defense has been playing all year. I mean, any quarterback they play, whoever it is this year, even the games they've lost. I mean, I remember I think it was early in the year. Early in the year, they played Seattle on a Monday night game, and they lost the game, but Sam Darnold was in a blender. There's been plenty of games where Houston, shut down every single quarterback, and that's just, they could be a team in the postseason, especially if the Bills have to play them. They're not beating them. Josh Allen, for some reason, cannot beat that Houston defense or that structure. Like, it's a 49ers kind of mold of a defense. Josh Allen struggles against that. So going back to what we talked about before, that would be the one team I don't think he can beat. And they're not even the best team that would make the postseason. Besides Buffalo, I just don't think I just don't know what it is, but he struggles against them. Denver beat the Packers 34-26. You talked about this game before. Bo Nix went in there. He played really well. And the Packers lose their not only their best player, they lost Christian Watson, one of the offensive linemen, I believe it was Zach Tom, along the way in that game. They lost a few different guys, and Christian Watson's actually, I think, become a number 1 type wide receiver. He's been really good since he's been hurt to start the year, and then once he's played really, really well, and now he's out. I think he's avoided like a major injury, but still, he's not available.
Not having him hurt still,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he means a lot to the Packers, and they're banged up coming in on a short week. Rams beat the Lions 41-34. This is a great game. I know I was at that point I was watching Red Zone in the 4 o'clock window games, and literally Red Zone was just the Rams versus Lions that on Sunday, just because of the back and forth. Every time someone had the ball, they were scoring. They were scoring touchdowns, and it just shows that the Rams are banged up, though, because Devontae got hurt. Puka is, I believe, questionable to play tomorrow night, because they have to play tomorrow night already. So, the Rams are very good, but the injuries are the only thing that can hurt them a little bit coming down the stretch. Saints beat the Panthers 20-17. So me and Biggie have been saying this from the beginning of the year. We thought the Saints were going to be one of the worst teams, which they are, record-wise.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
they've improved. Halfway through the year, they've kind of, you've seen it. Kellen Moore's become a better coach. Tyler Show is actually, he's not that bad. Actually, he's not.
I can't believe that Tyler Show, man. He's actually playing pretty good. They might actually try and roll with him and develop him more. They might.
I think they should.
I think with the way Kellen Moore is, I really like Kellen Moore as a head coach just because I loved him so much in Philly.
They just got to give him time. That's it.
Well, yeah, of course, and especially their roster's so bad too. I mean, they don't really besides a couple veterans, they don't have anyone at all. They're probably the least talented roster in the NFL. To be honest with you, besides
I agree.
Next to the Titans, really.
I agree. I mean, and they got 4 wins. They play the Jets this week, and then they play the Titans the week after. So you can win 2 more games right there. I don't know. Yeah. I forget who they played the last week.
The Jets game's gonna be really good though. I think it's gonna be a really good game.
Yeah. I mean, listen. At this point, I don't care if the Jets win. They win. If they lose, they lose. I don't care. Brady Cook is playing at quarterback, and he hasn't looked too good. So that's why we give the advantage to the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect though? Seriously.
Yeah, I know. I don't expect anything. It's just whatever at this point. 49ers beat the Titans 37-24. So the 49ers keep taking care of business. I mean, they've been banged up, and they're at 10-4. So props to
part.
Yeah, I mean, they have had so many injuries
ever, but this year they're doing it. I don't know how.
I know. They're always injured, but this year, really, especially in their defense,
they won 5 games with the same circumstances at hand.
Yeah,
and pretty much a very similar schedule. It's not like college football where you're playing different teams. Each year you're playing
pretty much the same teams. The division, obviously, and then
different ones. Yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Mac Jones. Give props to Mac Jones. He kept that team in it, and Brock Purdy's come back. Brock Purdy's been really good. The last month since he's come back, very, very good. Absolutely. And yes, the Jets they never win, and they will lose out. They'll lose out. They'll have 3 wins to end the year.
Yeah.
Where was I? Seahawks beat the Colts 18-16. So Phillip Rivers comes out of retirement, which is crazy.
What a game.
And he almost won. He actually almost won the game. Yeah. What? He almost won the game. I couldn't believe that.
I know.
Oh, I mean, Seahawks though. If this is the thing, defense is great. Defense is really good. Sam Darnold just has to be able to step up in the pressure moments in the playoffs, which I don't know if he can do it yet. We've seen in
I don't
those
think
tough
so
games,
either. That's
and I don't
why
think he could do it yet.
I don't think he can. I really don't. I don't think he ever
either.
will. To be honest with you, no matter where he goes, I just don't see him. He's not that type of quarterback. You know?
Yeah. Listen, he's gotten a hell of a lot better, obviously, than when he started. I mean, but I just don't think he can be that clutch guy. I don't.
Right.
I
like
really
look at him
so.
last year with the Vikings, and then now look at him now with the Seahawks. But will the same thing happen that happened with the Vikings last year? Probably. We'll see though.
Probably. You're right.
This is a very similar situation, like pretty much the same situation. So we'll see.
Cowboys lose to the Vikings 34-26. I know I don't know if Frank is still here or not, but he's in the comments. He's a Cowboys fan. So yeah, your Cowboys, unfortunately, they're not eliminated just yet, but they will be after their game on actually they could be eliminated Saturday night after the Eagles win. So I'm pretty sure.
Are the Eagles going to win though? Is that the question? Is that's not
they
confirmed?
Should win. They should win.
That's not confirmed. That's not. Don't say they're going to win. Don't. You can't.
They should win.
Not even last week was a guaranteed win. Let's be honest.
They should win. They should win.
They should.
The Cowboys, the only way the Cowboys can make the playoffs is if the Eagles lose every game and the Cowboys win every game. So that I would say
could happen. I mean, Cowboys, as much as I hate them, Cowboys offense is pretty, it's dangerous.
It is pretty good, but the defense can't stop us if we went on the field and try to play.
Yeah, true. That's been the story all year, and they've still put up pretty good games, though. So
no, you're right. You're right. It's just that
I'm not counting the Cowboys fully out, to be honest with you, just knowing how both teams are right now.
Yeah, I know. I feel like the Eagles can do. They play the Commanders twice. They can win one of those to clinch the division. I know they may not win both, but they will win one. Monday night, Steelers beat the Dolphins 28-15. This is like a 3-0 game and like late in the second quarter, very boring to watch. And then the Steelers turned it on a little bit. I have to say, I know Miami. Miami's defense has been pretty good lately, but this is probably the best the Steelers offense has looked the entire year to me. I feel like, but the beginning week 1 doesn't like the week 1, week 2 doesn't really count. After that, I feel like, later in the last like 7 weeks, the Steelers offense looks like they struggle to do everything. They try to even get a first down. They look like they struggle, but against Miami, they didn't. They look really good. Rodgers was in sync with everybody. DK had that touchdown he had. He just literally threw Mika Fitzpatrick on the floor like he was like a 5-year-old kid in the way of him trying to run. It was great. It was great. And Pittsburgh's at 8-6 right now, so they're in the driver's seat. To win that division. They play Detroit this week, which we'll get to the preview in a little bit. But all right, Biggie, we're gonna change it up a little bit. We usually do, a team that impressed us the most, quarterback that impressed us the most. But now it's almost playoff time, so we're gonna talk about it in terms of the playoffs. The team. So let's do a team that you think is in the most trouble. So a team that's in the playoffs, NFC or AFC, that you believe is in the most trouble, in danger of falling out. And then let's do a team that is outside. There's not many teams left that are outside looking in, but whoever's on the outside that has the best chance of getting in the postseason spot. So let's do that team that
people think. Right?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll go. So I think the team that's in the most trouble is the Bucks. They're 7-7. They've lost to the Saints and the Falcons the last 2 weeks, so that's not good. And I believe they've lost 5 of their last 6, and even in the win, they didn't look good. So the Bucks are in trouble, and they play Carolina 2 of the next 3 weeks. So I mean, if you want to go out there and win the division, you have the games right in front of you to do it. You don't need help. Like if you win your games, you make it. That's how it goes. But I don't know if they're going to win the games. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't. And then for the team I think that has the best chance at making the postseason, that's on the outside. If you look at it, there's not many teams. There's not many teams that are in conversation, but I think the Lions have the best chance on the outside of getting in. I feel either the Bears or the Packers are going to slip up within the next 3 weeks, and I think the Lions are going to win the last 3 games, and I think the Lions are going to sneak in. And I think that the Packers or the Bears, whoever loses, let me put it this way: whoever loses Saturday night in the Packers versus Bears game, that's who the Lions are going to jump in to get into the postseason. That's what I believe is going to happen. Because the AFC, Biggie, in the AFC, there's really no one. The Ravens are the only team pretty much that have a chance at making the Colts. They're 8-6. They're not making the postseason. They're not winning a game actually the rest of the year. And then the Ravens are the only other team. And then in the NFC, the only teams in the hunt are the Panthers and the Cowboys, like I said. So there's not many options, but that's what I believe. Bucks are in the most trouble. Lions have a good chance of sneaking in. What do you think?
Okay.
What do you think, Biggie?
So I think a team that's in trouble is the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, well, they had a big win. Don't get me wrong. They did. Still don't think that, it's just not there. They have the Patriots, they have the Packers, and they have
the Steelers
to play the Steelers again in Pittsburgh too, which isn't easy. Steelers already beat them in Baltimore, but have them in Pittsburgh. And I think the Steelers are at that point of the year where they, for some reason play the best football they have all year. You know what I mean? So I think the Ravens are in trouble. And then the team that I think is in the best spot, to be honest with you, is another AFC team, Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me the Jags, man. I think they're in a really good spot. I have actually two of them for you there. Them and the Texans, because their defense is just unreal. The Texans defense is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I like that.
Either one of those two that I think are pretty well set right now, Jacksonville or Houston.
Yeah, I like that. It just depends on going back to the Ravens thing. The Ravens are going to have to be at least one game or tied with Pittsburgh going into the last week.
And I don't think they're going to do
it. I don't either. The Steelers play, the Lions Sunday. I don't think the Steelers win that game. And for my prediction, that I hope not. But then they play the Browns. Then they play the Browns the next week. So I believe the Steelers will win that one. I mean, if they don't beat the Browns, you got problems. But it will be a tough game because like I said, division matchup's tough. But I think the Steelers, they'll lose Sunday. They'll beat the Browns, so they'll be 9-7 going into the last week. The Ravens have to win one of the next two games. Patriots Sunday night, and the Patriots coming off a loss. I don't know if they're going to win that. And then the Ravens have the Packers the week after. I mean, those are really tough games. So I agree. They're in trouble. Let's preview week 16. And then we'll do a QB to watch, and then at this point, fantasies are in the semifinals. So if your team is in it at this point,
team's out of playoffs. So
that's what I was gonna say. We both suck at fantasy, and if you're in the semifinals, I don't know if you want to listen to us, but we'll throw advice out there anyway, just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
But let's do our preview of week 16. So tomorrow night, heavyweight matchup. We got the Rams versus the Seahawks. Seahawks actually probably have the slight advantage here, just because Devontae's out, and also Puka might be out. Those two guys are out. Seattle's defense is very good already. I mean, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game.
Power, you're screwed.
Exactly. And even I think Devontae's obviously he's a great player, but I think he's a little undervalued in terms of how Puka's a great player. He's going to get open himself. But he's been so much more open this year because you have a player like Davante Adams with you.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not available. The Seahawks don't have to really worry about it.
It's crazy that, I agree. He's so undervalued. You obviously know he's good, but you don't hear enough about him. He is so friggin' good. I mean, no one's talking about how great he is. Wow. He's really, really good.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Davante's definitely not playing. I mean, I know they said doubtful, but
that hurts you a lot, I think.
That changes a lot. He has 14 touchdowns this year. He's literally their red zone guy.
Like you said, their defense is good, but their offense is what's winning them games.
Playing
out of his mind. And when you have someone like Davante Adams and even Puka Nacua, who we know is good, you know what I mean. You lose at least one of those is going to hurt you. You know.
For sure. Saturday, we got the Eagles. So we got our little Saturday games coming in the next few weeks. Eagles versus Commanders at 5 o'clock. That's a weird. I never really seen a 5 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
In the regular season. It's weird.
Obviously, plans now, but I was looking at going to that game a couple months ago, possibly.
Oh,
yeah? I don't know if I want to now.
Yeah. And then we got the Packers versus the Bears as the night game. So both of those games Saturday have teams involved in playoff implications. And for the Commanders, they're the only team, obviously, that's out. But Marcus Mariota will continue to play for them the last couple of weeks to ride out the season. Then Sunday, we got the Bills taking on the Browns. So the Bills will continue, to try to win games and improve the seeding a little bit. Chargers versus Dallas. So that's going to be a game where, that same thing. Both of those teams on the road, Buffalo and Chargers, are the same record right now. So they need to win, obviously win games. Chiefs versus Titans there's no effect on this game except the fact that the Titans win the game. It can kind of hurt their chances at a upper pick. Bengals versus Miami. It's another game, does not mean anything. Jets versus Saints doesn't really mean anything, obviously, in terms of the game, but also draft pick implications for all those games, like I just said. Then Minnesota versus the Giants, another game. We'll see. Well, I think that is a good test for. I know there's probably Giants fans watching because I know a few. Jackson Dart is a nice test for him because the Vikings have a good defense, and let's see what Dart can do here. And JJ McCarthy. It's a little young buck QB matchup on Sunday at MetLife. Tickets are as low as $24. So if no one's doing anything on Sunday, go ahead and watch that. Division matchup here, obviously for first place, the Bucks versus the Panthers. 4:00 games. You got the Jaguars versus the Broncos. So this is a game that both top three, two of the top three seeds in the AFC are going at it. Denver is probably going to win because they're just really good right now.
They are Falcons, right now, yeah.
Right now, right? Like we said, the postseason, I think we have some doubts, but we'll see. And then we got the
Jacksonville too, like huge game.
Yeah, it is. It is. Falcons versus Cardinals. That game doesn't have much. Like we said, Cardinals are on a long losing streak at this point. Steelers versus Lions at 425. Steelers, obviously they win a few games, they will be fine. Lions, they have to win every game the rest of the year if they want to make the playoffs. So this starts as that, and I think they're capable. Like I said, I think they're very capable of doing that. Then we got Vegas versus Houston. So the Texans will probably. What's the spread on this game? Minus 14.5. I would take Houston minus 14.5. I think it might be worse than what the Eagles did to them, honestly. And then we got the Ravens taking on the Patriots Sunday night. So the Ravens are going to be playing, for their lives. Patriots have to lock up the division. The Patriots, by losing Sunday against the Bills, they didn't win the division yet. So they got to do that. And the Ravens, obviously, like we said, they their season's on the line. They have to win.
The Bills fans are rooting for the Ravens right now.
Yeah, and then they would be tied for first with the last 2 weeks left if the Bills can win. So that'll be something. And then we got the Monday night matchup, the 49ers versus the Colts. So Phillip Rivers is going to face another really, 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 really tough defense. He went up against Seattle last week. Tough defense. He looked okay. I mean, for a guy that hasn't played in 5 years, he actually did pretty well. And then 49ers, they're going to probably keep rolling. I would expect that. But let's do our QB to watch in week 16, and then fantasy guy, and then the playoff picture after that. But I'll go first here. The QB to watch for me, Bryce Young. So Bryce Young has played really good against the good teams, and he hasn't done so well against the bottom feeders, I should say. He's a QB to watch because the Panthers, they have not been good for probably the last 8 years or so. This is one of the biggest games in Panthers, franchise history. Let's put it that way. And if he can go out there and play well, they beat the Bucks, who the Bucks have been winning that division for the past, since Brady was there into Baker Mayfield era in Tampa Bay. Bryce Young, you got a lot to prove here. Let's see if you can do it. What do we got? Biggie?
For me, I honestly am probably going to go with Caleb Williams. Just because I'm curious.
I like that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Caleb Williams just because I want to see how different. Obviously, we saw how different it was immediately on impact, but I want to see how different the Packers defense looks after a week of preparation, or at least 6 days of preparation because it's a Saturday game.
It's a little less.
Yeah, but still, I want to see how if it's still that different, or if giving them a week of practice without Micah Parsons to change some things around personnel wise and scheme wise, if it's any different. That's why I think. That's why I'm going to say Caleb Williams, just because I want to see how the Packers defense looks, especially against a team like the Bears. I think it's a good test to see. This is really going to see how much of an impact Micah Parsons had. Whether they can adjust and move on, or it's really going to hurt them, because it obviously did on impact immediately. But we'll see how it does, again, after a week of preparation.
Yeah, and the second time, for Caleb to play the Packers, that's another element in this. How are you going to look? How are you going to be able to play a little differently so the film doesn't look exactly the same this week than what it did when you played them 2 weeks ago? Which is that's an obstacle in that, obviously, in terms of being a football guy, you get that. So that's another thing. I like that. I like that one. Caleb Williams, seeing how he can do against the defense he just played, and also now without that defense doesn't have their star, so that's another thing to take into account there.
Especially someone like Micah Parsons, who's that impactful.
Yeah, 100%. He's obviously one of the best. The fantasy guy here. So like I said before, if you're in your semifinal matchup, You probably have a really good team, so you probably don't need to pick anyone up on waivers. But I would say the Saints have lost their top 2 running backs, and Audric Estime is going to probably be their starter. If anyone's a Notre Dame fan, they know exactly who Audric Estime is. He was a beast for us back in the a few years ago. But still, this is a guy that is going to get a ton of touches against the Jets defense that does not play well, obviously. So this could be a guy. Listen, if you're really up in up in the air on the fence of who you want to play as your running back 2, Estime could be a possibility. If you're in a league that has more than one flex, Estime could be a good possibility. So there's options that you may, if you really need, he can be a guy to come in there for you. Biggie, do we have anyone in terms of fantasy before we go to the playoff?
Yeah, and it's mainly just because of how bad the Raiders are, and they're probably not going to try to play for anything, and the Texans are playing for a playoff spot. Nico Collins, if you need a wide receiver or a flex guy, Nico Collins, come up.
Yeah, I was going to say anyone from Houston, and also Woody Marks he could be on the injury report. He may not play. So I know Jamar Jordan, he played really well for Houston the other Sunday. As I remember, I kept checking, Woody Marks, why isn't he in the game? He got hurt, and then Jamar Jordan came in the game. He played pretty well. What was that?
He's still questionable, I saw.
Oh, he is? Okay, yeah. So, I mean, it's early in the week now, obviously, but keep an eye on that. So let's do our playoff picture here before we go to the MLB. So the number 1 seed in the AFC is your Denver Broncos, 12-2, Patriots at 11-3. So because the Patriots lost, they went down to the 2 seed. Jacksonville Jaguars at 10-4, Steelers 8-6 as your 4 seed, Chargers 10-4 as your 5 seed, Bills 10-4 as your 6 seed, and Houston is 9-5 as your 7 seed. And then the 2 teams in the hunt right now are the Colts at 8-6 and the Ravens at 7-7. So if the season did end today, the Patriots would play the Texans. Not a good draw if I'm the Patriots. Jaguars would play the Bills. That would be a really good game. And the Steelers would play the Chargers. So I don't know if the Steelers would want that matchup, honestly. I don't know who the Steelers would really want in the playoffs, just because the 3 teams in the wild card are, pretty damn good. They're no slouches at all. So we'll see what happens with that. And then in the NFC, your number 1 seed is the Rams at 11-3. The Bears are 10-4 as your 2 seeds. So the NFC, like you said before, it literally switches. It switches every week. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's nuts. The Packers are a 7 seed.
That's what I'm saying. They were what, the 2 seed last week?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane.
Right?
Biggie, it's insane. I know before the Bears lost to the Packers, they were the number 1 seed and they fell. It's crazy. The Eagles at 9-5 as the 3 seed. The Bucks at 7-7 as the 4 seed. Just pitiful division. It's pathetic. Seahawks at 11-3 as your 5 seed. So we got the 5 seed versus the 1 seed tomorrow night. Whoever wins that will stay. Either the Rams will stay as the 1 seed or the Seahawks will become the 1 seed. 49ers at 10-4. So the 49ers are right there. The NFC West is no joke. It is really no joke.
Not at all.
And then the Packers are your 7 seed, like you just said, at 9-4-1. So that tie is kind of getting in the way a little bit right now. And then in the hunt, we got Detroit at 8-6. Panthers at 7-7, and the Cowboys at 6-7-1. No 6-7 jokes here tonight. So if the postseason started today, the Rams would be at the bye week at 11-3. Bears would play the Packers, which would be for the 3rd time, which I don't expect that to remain the same. Then the Eagles would play the 49ers, and then the Bucks would play Seattle. That would be your matchups if the postseason started today, which I don't think they will. Let's go to the MLB, where we got some Team USA pitching news. So the pitching staff bumped up a little bit. Nolan McLean, who came up from the Mets. Biggie, you probably don't know who he is just yet, just because he's not really a household name just yet, but he will be very soon. Mets brought him up halfway through the year, and he became their best starting pitcher. And he was really, really good. He had, he should have been up probably earlier than when he came up, but he'll be on Team USA. Joe Ryan from the Twins, very good pitcher. He'll be on the team as well. And Clay Holmes, don't know why he got an invitation to join the team, but he did. He'll be on the team. The thing I don't like about it is that the 2 of the 3 of the guys that are on this team right now are on the Mets. And, the Mets have not had good history in terms of their pitchers pitching in this event. So just got to hope that no one gets injured, because last time Edwin Diaz, when he was on the Mets, obviously he's not anymore, pitching the WBC, and he was out for the year. So we got to hope that these guys can just make it through, and hopefully, especially McLean, hopefully he doesn't throw a lot. There's no reason for him to pitch a lot. And if I'm the Mets, I'm telling, Team USA, the coaching staff, this is the amount of innings he can pitch, 10 innings, and that's it. I don't want him. If he pitches more than 10 innings, we're taking him back to spring training. We can't have him pitch more than that. Other MLB news, we got Brad Keller signed with the Phillies. So I know you're not a Phillies fan, but you do follow the Phillies. So Phillies got a very good reliever who, if anyone knows, anyone knows the Phillies, the issues they've had over the past few years in terms of the postseason is the bullpen. And this is a really good signing for them. He was a guy 2 ERA last year for Chicago, and the Chicago was in the postseason. So, he pitched in big games throughout the year. So he got a 2-year, $22 million deal. Then the Mets stole Luke Weaver away from the Yankees, 2-year, $22 million deal as well. 3 ERA last year. He struggled mightily in the postseason, though, I'll tell you that. I'll give you my thoughts now, but I'm not a huge I'm not going to hate on this move, honestly. But I hope the Mets are still trying to actively look at another top tier bullpen guy, because Luke Weaver, if he's in the 7th inning, I'm happy with that. If he's in the 8th or 9th inning, I'm not so happy with that. So they're still lacking that 1 or 2, upper type bullpen arms, which they have time to get, but I'm still not happy with the Mets. So nothing's going to really satisfy me right now, I should say.
So there's not much. I could see how you feel. Like, there's nothing to be excited about after what just happened.
Yeah, you let 3 guys, 3 guys that were, fan favorites on the team for a while. That's not really the best situation. The Giants have picked up Adrian Hauser and Jason Foley. So Hauser, he was on the Mets 2 years ago. He left, went to Japan. I don't know what he did there, but he became actually a really good pitcher. He played last year for the White Sox, and he was traded along the way. I forget what team he was traded to. It was a playoff team, playoff, contention type of team. He went there. He, found himself, and he signed with the Giants. And then Jason Foley is a back of the end bullpen guy. So the Giants did pretty well for themselves. And then the Angels, they signed Jordan Romano and Drew Pomeranz. So the theme why I wanted to get to here was a lot of pitching. The pitching market is kind of, flowing now. It seems like the pitchers are kind of coming off the board left and right, and the position players are not. The position players is kind of still at a standstill. I
noticed that's a lot of pitchers and a lot of relief guys.
Bullpen guys. Yeah.
A lot of bullpen guys. Right. It's not like you're not seeing any actual, fielders at all.
Not yet. Yeah, not yet. Last week, we saw Diaz go. Devin Williams go. Those are the guys that were at the top of the market. Those guys go, then these guys come in, and that's why the bullpen is bullpen market is flowing. Adolis Garcia signed with the Phillies as well. 1 year, $10 million. So this is a guy, he's been really good in his career. He can hit a ton of home runs, but I think that he didn't really do too great last year. So this is a little bit of them kind of banking on him being good for Philly, and I think he will be. I think he's going to find himself again and be pretty good, for Philly. But let's do the NHL quick, and then we'll do how you doing. We'll flip that, and then we'll go to college football and the pick'em to end it. But for the NHL, I know we actually did talk about this last night.
We did yesterday.
We talk about it more.
But we'll go a little more today, though.
Yeah. If anyone did miss it, and I want Biggie to give more thoughts on it, because obviously he is more of a hockey guy than I am. Quinn Hughes was traded to the he was traded to the Wild from the Vancouver Canucks. But I wrote here, don't expect him to sign with Minnesota because his brothers play for the Devils. He got 2 brothers on the Devils, so I don't expect him to remain in in Minnesota. And he's made it clear he wants to go play with his brothers at some point. Yeah. So when that time comes, it will. But any other thoughts you had on the Quinn Hughes situation? Because he's a pretty damn good defenseman, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah. If you're a Wild fan, I would sure hope that you keep Quinn Hughes, because you are 20-9 right now, and you have a very good team. And the Wild have been actually pretty solid the last couple of years. They've been in growing each year. And, I think a guy like Quinn Hughes, that's a guy that can change your team. You know what I mean? Something that they need, defensemen especially, could help. You know what I mean? Because I think that's more of their weaker spot. They're obviously a very, high scoring, not like high scoring, but they're more of an offensive based team, to say the least. You know what I mean? So I think if you keep Quinn Hughes, they have a shot at making some noise in the playoffs, making the playoffs even. But you know what I mean? Again, same thing goes for if he ends up leaving, not signing with Minnesota and going to the Devils. You have all 3 of the Hughes brothers, especially. And honestly, I tell you what, I said this yesterday. I think Quinn Hughes is the best out of the 3, even though Jack is a stud. I think Quinn is the best one out of the three. So if the Devils get Quinn Hughes, I think they win. They have a shot of winning the Eastern Conference. Like they should. They should. I mean, they already have a pretty solid team. If they add a little, like it's the same thing with the Wild. You had some defensive help, like you had a defenseman like Quinn Hughes, who in Vancouver is arguably one of the best players they've had in franchise history. And Vancouver fans are very upset because they've had a very bad season up until this point. And you lose your franchise guy in Quinn Hughes. That definitely hurts. But yeah, I think if he stays with either team, they are going to be greatly improved because he's just a great player. He really is.
All right, that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear more of like the breakdown on it, and that that clarifies things. To sum it up, Quinn Hughes, good hockey player.
Very good.
Very good hockey player. Let's put it that way. Other NHL news we had was Nick Saban has actually purchased a stake in the Nashville Predators. I was like, what? I thought I was like, when you wake up in the morning, you kind of in a daze. I thought that's what I was like when I was reading it. I was like, what? Like, I'm very confused, but I guess he has some time on his hands. So Nick Saban, he's dabbling in, different things here. Leon Draisaitl, we look at the Edmonton Oilers, we always think of Connor McDavid, right? Connor McDavid. But actually, Leon Draisaitl, for the hockey fans, they know who he is. He's McDavid's second guy there. That's his guy.
And he's just as good. I mean,
and he's just as good. Yeah, I was gonna
spotlight, but yeah,
he is pretty good himself, and he hit 1,000 career points, fourth fastest active player to do that, Biggie. So that just shows he's pretty damn good as well. And that Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, they may go down as one of the best duos ever, honestly.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw it, just because of our next topic, I think I should bring it up. I don't know. It honestly was kind of sad, to be honest with you. As the whole Edmonton Oilers team was celebrating, you can see they played the Penguins. You see Stuart Skinner there standing there.
Yeah, he scored on him, right?
That scored on Skinner. Yeah,
that's that.
You could tell he wanted to celebrate with them, but he couldn't. You know what I mean? Like he's just standing there, like getting ready for the game to start back up, and the whole Oilers, like all four of their lines, are like celebrating right next to him. It's a shame.
That's the business, right? I guess that's
that's the business of it.
First time, like I said, the fourth fastest guy, and then the last thing we have here before the standings update. First time in NHL history, we had two goalies traded for each other, and they played against each other within 7 days. I don't know how that's never happened before. I'm kind of shocked.
And you know what, JD? I don't know where this trade came in from, but Jarry was actually playing pretty well for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't know what I'm gonna just talk about this a little bit more in depth because I'm a fan of their minor league team, like the one that's one below them, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, because that's our team around here in the area. They got me into hockey, been going to games for a long time. So big fan of them. Always support the local Pens, even though I'm a Flyer fan. So I know a lot of the prospects and stuff. I see them play like when I go to the games. And Tristan Jarry was actually playing really well. I saw Jarry down here actually a few times when he was in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
Jarry was actually playing pretty well, but there is a goalie who's been up and down between Pittsburgh and Wilkes-Barre. Sergei Murazov is the guy's name. Okay. And I can tell you what, I think they're putting some more stock in him by getting rid of Jarry. They're banking on him to be the next best goalie in the NHL. Just wait. That's why I think that came in. That's why it may have seemed a little unexpected, but I can see that being the case, that they want to get Murazov permanently in Pittsburgh because
a younger guy in there.
Yeah, because he's been up and down between Wilkes-Barre and Pittsburgh. So I think they wanted to give him a permanent spot. And I think Jarry's been in the league for a long time now. I mean, he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And, I just think maybe I'm thinking that's what that was. But I didn't think they trade Jarry like this. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I know we're getting to the standings now, but Pittsburgh was actually playing good hocky. That's
they're playing really good.
And Edmonton's been playing good hockey. So that's why I was like, what's going on here? But I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm not saying for sure that's why they did it.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
It makes a little sense once you look at it a little bit more.
Yeah, it does. And we look at it, in every sport. There's always the guy, the veteran that that plays very well for a bunch of a long period of time. But the good organizations know, you know what, this guy's played really good for us. But I think the times come. We have a younger guy that's in the wings that we think is actually gonna be really good, waiting in the wings for us. Let's get rid of him now before his play declines a little bit, and we have the young guy ready to go. And for the moment, they have Skinner playing until their young guy is ready. So that's a really good point that you came up with. I like that, and I didn't know that. That's why I'm glad you brought that up. But let's do our standings update in the NHL here, as every team has played at least 30 games. So, we're almost approaching halfway through the hockey season already.
I know.
So that's crazy. That is time is just flying by at this point. But Biggie, you want to do the Eastern Conference, and then I'll do the Western Conference, and then we'll go to how you doing, and then we'll do college football, and then we'll do our pick'em, and then we'll be over.
I'm watching the Cure Bowl right now, Matty V. Old Dominion in South Florida. Old Dominion just scored to basically seal it. And Delaware's about to be on too. Nick Minicucci, they're showing him on TV right now. We'll talk about it later. But anyway, let's get into it. So we're going to start in the Atlantic Division. The Detroit Red Wings are still on top right now at 19-12. Boston's just behind them though, 20-14. They've been playing very well this year. Detroit still exceeding expectations. Tampa Bay's picked it up a little bit, 18-12. All these teams, man, none of them have compared to the Metro, they all have double-digit losses right now.
Everyone.
And Montreal fell off the face of the earth, dude. They were cruising for the beginning of the year, and now they're not very good at all. Not very good at all. The Flyers beat them 4-1 last night. Montreal hasn't been playing that great. They're 17-12. They have 38 points this year, but they've fallen off a little bit. Florida, 17-13, 36 points. They haven't been playing as good as we think they should have been. Toronto struggling a little bit. Ottawa's back to being Ottawa, 15-3 and 34 points. And then the Buffalo Sabres are the Buffalo Sabres. They made a move where they fired their GM and hired someone that wasn't even much better. So keep doing your thing, Sabres. Keep being mediocre. Keep doing it, because me as a partial fan loves it. But speaking of my actual team, my favorite team, we're going to go in the Metro Division. Carolina, 21-9 right now. They're actually really good. They're playing the best hockey they've played in a couple of years now. The Islanders are still cooking, 19-12, 41 points. And then the Flyers, dude, they're finally playing good hockey. They're finally consistently playing good. They're 17-9
Listen,
now.
I'm not a hockey expert, but I did say they were on the come up. I did say that.
Yeah.
I did say that in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, and look at them. They're third in the Metro right now. They do have 6 overtime losses though. It's actually funny. They played a weekend series with Carolina. They had one in Philly. They lost 4-3 in a shootout, and then they played in Carolina and lost 3-2 in a shootout.
I mean, listen, it's better than regulation losses though.
Right, you get the point.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You take a point.
Yeah,
you'll take it and run with it.
Right. And then the Washington Capitals are in 4th. They picked it up quite a bit.
They've been good.
They're like towards the bottom of the Metro, and now they're up there a little bit. Pittsburgh, they've been dealing with some injuries. They're 14-9. They also have, 37 points. Like I said, just injuries. They've had some injuries this season, in and out guys, and they're calling some guys from Wilkes-Barre up actually. So some of those younger prospects that have been playing well for the AHL team are up. The Devils, 37 points, 18-14. They're too inconsistent.
They're injured, very injured.
And injured as well.
Yeah.
Yes, for stupid reasons, but they are. And then the Rangers, man. Oh, wow. What's going on with them?
Biggie, I was in the city. I think I was telling you this last night, actually.
Yeah, we were talking about last night. Yeah.
I was in the city, Saturday night, and the Rangers were playing, and it was like there's no energy in that building, like nothing. Like I wasn't watching. I wasn't in the game, like in the Garden, but I was there. Like I was just, there was nothing. They can't win at home. You got Mika Zibanejad missing team meetings, getting suspended. Like
did you see that? I was just going to bring that up. So
you can't have that. Meetings. Like, you can't, especially you're one of the captains. You cannot be doing that.
One of the better household name guys.
Like, you cannot be doing that. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't
either. They're talented. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. And the lack of winning at home is what that gets me, a little like confused. I don't know. I guess confused. I don't know what it is, because they've always been, even when they're not the best team in the league, or like one of the best teams, like in terms of getting in the postseason, stuff like that. They've always been good at home. That's been like that's been their thing.
How could you not be at a building like Madison Square Garden?
Exactly. And they're 4-10-3 at home. That is terrible. That is. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't.
Yeah.
They're lucky that they've. I don't want to cut you off. They're lucky they're lucky they have 12 wins on the road right now because they would be one of the worst teams in the NHL.
They'd be the worst team in the league.
They already are.
They'd be worse than Vancouver right now. And then Columbus Blue Jackets, I mean, they're the outlier in the Metro, I'll be honest with you. They always kind of have been. They're just not, they're not great. They're last. But the Metro men, very competitive, very good teams. The East is finest in the Metro. This is finest hockey, the Metropolitan Division.
It is. We always say that. I mean, we're a little biased, but it's true. It is true.
It is. Look at everything. It is.
Yeah, it is true. Let's go to the West here. So we'll start with the Central Division where the Avalanche are 24-2-7. So only 2 regulation losses. Like I said, it's literally them and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's how if you want to think of a comparison, think of that. Avalanche have yet to lose a game at home in regulation. So they're 13-0-2 at home. So it just shows, how good they are. They got 55 points. Dallas Stars at 22-7-5 with 49 points. And the Wild at 29-5 with 45 points. So that was a division, in the beginning of the year that was very close. Now it's not. It's those 3 teams. And then the Mammoth are 4th place, and they're a 500 team. They're 16-3 with 35 points. So the 4th place team is 10 points behind the 3rd place team this early in the year. So that's crazy.
Yeah. It's just, and I didn't expect that too, because I honestly expected Winnipeg to be better, and I didn't expect Colorado to be as good as they are. And even Minnesota as well. I mean, like I just mentioned, they've gotten better year in and year out, but they're really good this year. And the thing with Dallas is they're always usually pretty good, but they can't get over the hump. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's been their thing. They're kind of like the Bills.
The Bills.
Yeah, they are. Winnipeg at 15-2 with 32 points. Blackhawks 13-14-6 with 32 points. The Blues 12-15-7 with 31 points, and then Nashville in last at 13-15-4. So maybe Nick Saban can bring them some winning. Maybe that's why he decided to invest. Who knows?
They need it.
And then in the Pacific, we got the Anaheim Ducks in first place, who I watched a little bit of that game the other night when they played the Rangers. They didn't impress me, but they're in first. Oh, my headphones fell out.
Well,
the Ducks are 42 points. They're in first. Vegas is at 16-6-9. So they have 9 overtime losses, which you don't really see happen, that many early in the year, but that's the case for them. They got 41 points. They have half the losses Anaheim has, but they're 1 point behind them. That's funny. That's just the way hockey works, right? Edmonton at 16. That is 16-12-6, 38 points with the Oilers. Kings at 14-9-9 with 37 points. They've cooled off a little bit. Sharks at 17-14-3 with 37 points. They've been playing better hockey of late. And then the last 3 teams, not good. Kraken 12-13-6 with 30 points. Calgary 13-17-4 with 30 points. And then Vancouver 13-17-3 with 29 points. I think they beat the Rangers last night too. Oh man. Oh, all right. Let's move on. No more hockey talk. Let's do the how you doing. I was like, yeah, Vancouver I think beat them too, right? And they did. Let's do how you doing now. And then we'll do college and then our pick 'em. So, Biggie, you want to kick us off with the how you doing? We don't have that much to talk about, but we'll do.
We kind of already did.
we pretty much did it already. But yeah, any other thoughts you have? Go ahead, and then we'll do college football.
Yeah. So Flyers have been playing a lot better hockey. Very impressed with Trevor Zegras. He is playing at an outstanding level. He's very, very, very good. Some unfortunate news, though, for the Flyers. Tyson Forrester is out for the year, which sucks because he was another young guy in that core who, like I say it all the time, the Flyers are a very young team. I mean, you got guys like Zegras, Michkov, Noah Cates, Cam York, and then you have vets like Couturier and Travis Konechny. And then, obviously Tyson Forrester, like I said, but he's hurt. Jamie Drysdale. Just guys that, they're younger. It's a younger core. And then Dan Vladar in the net, who has been playing great. A little off as of late, but he's been still playing very, very consistently good. And yeah, the Flyers are clicking right now. And Trevor Zegras is playing some of the best hockey he's ever played in his career right now. And they actually, I don't know, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. There were some rumors about us trading for Tage Thompson from the Buffalo Sabres. If we get him, we're winning the cup. I'm just saying. If we had a piece like Tage Thompson, we're winning the Stanley Cup. That's just come on. That's that. If you add another young, talented hockey player in that lineup, it's it's over. It's over. Look out. And then the Eagles, we know. I went on a little rant about Patullo. I do it all the time. Nothing new. Cavs have been playing a little off. We talked about that last night a little bit. Losing some of the games that they shouldn't be losing. Yankees, not much trading guys to the Mets.
Yeah, the Yankees are just letting guys go.
They love doing that. And then college basketball, Syracuse basketball. I don't believe Adrian Autry is the answer. I think this is his last year. It better be. Please, can we get rid of him? That would be great. They're losing to Hofstra, and they are playing right now, actually. They're playing Mercyhurst out of I believe it's the NEC in basketball, too.
It is. They used to be Division II, I think.
Yeah, they were in the PSAC with East Stroudsburg, Bloomsburg, Kutztown, all those schools.
Mm.
The Syracuse is beating them 68-53 right now, which they should be. But they played a team on their level the other night and lost. I just don't think I think Autry's got to go. I think this is the end of his time. It has to be. We need to move on. If we don't do anything in ACC play like we did last year, if we played as bad as we did in the conference, I think it's time to move on. Kai and Anthony, though, you're awesome. All right, you're awesome. You're great. You might be better than your dad was, honestly. By the time you're done at Syracuse. And then we'll talk about football because a lot happened, and we'll lead right into college. I saved it for last because we'll go right into college football from there. So Syracuse, they have a top 30 class coming in. Tusi, shut up before anyone even says it. I know he's not going to play. He's not on scholarship. No harm, no foul. Okay, end the story. Enough about Tusi. I've heard enough. I get it. It's an attention thing, and that's something that Fran Brown likes to do. Bring attention to us. It's going to bring in more recruits, get us in the media. It's going to make us more relevant, and he's been doing that since he got here, and I honestly like it. People don't like it. I like it. I think it's good. I think we need it because we're an irrelevant program. We have been since the 90s, and I think that's something that Fran Brown is doing that's good, bringing attention to us. We got our 5-star. Calvin Russell did not go elsewhere. He's officially signed with Syracuse. So Fran Brown straight up said he's bringing in new quarterbacks. So
I was going to say Carney. I just saw is in the portal.
Yeah, Carney is in the transfer portal. So I get it.
How about Filardi?
What?
Joe Filardi, whatever.
He won't even be on the team next year. He might quit football after that, or just be like the 5th string. He might be the 5th or 6th string next year. So Carney's transferring, and Jakari Williams is transferring too, who was another quarterback on our roster who was hurt for majority of the year, so we didn't see him too much. He did play a little bit against Boston College though. But he's transferring, and so is Carney, which I'm a little disappointed about because we saved his red shirt for this upcoming season. So I was a little disappointed in that. But I think he'll be a very serviceable backup at a good school. So I wish him the best of luck because I really liked him. But Fran Brown has straight up said that he's trying to bring in quarterbacks. Like he's bringing in 2 new quarterbacks straight up out of the portal, like 2 studs, because you see how mismanaged the quarterback situation was last year when Steve Angeli went out. You don't want that happening again. You need someone that, in a sense, is a starting quarterback elsewhere, but is going to have to be the role of the backup because you need someone. Obviously, you need someone that's reliable at your backup. Like that's going to be the tough part about selling this to a guy in the portal. We're obviously not going to go get a guy like, we're not going to go after these top guys like Royola and Lagway. It's not happening. Yeah. I mean, why would we even do that? Even if we were looking for a quarterback, why, you know what I mean? Like it's not going to happen because the amount of NIL money that's going to come out of some of these SEC schools, we just don't have yet, which I think we will in the future if Fran keeps building this up and we actually start seeing some success when we have consistent quarterback play and a new defensive coordinator, which I think I talked about, right? Did I talk about new DC coming in?
You did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Toledo, who I think finally, thank God, Elijah Robinson, not a good DC at all. Had pretty much the same results with a way lesser talented defense this year than he did with 5 or 6 NFL guys on it last season. It's inexcusable, really is. And he's a great recruiter too. He came from Texas A&M as their D-line coach, I know, and he brought Fidel Diggs, who was actually pretty solid for us last year. He was a big portal guy. Like him and McCord were in the same portal class last year. And he was all right. He wasn't as good as he was anticipated to be, but he was still pretty good. And Elijah Robinson is a good recruiter. And I like what Fran Brown did because him and Fran Brown are like really, really close. So there was no way he was straight up firing him, even though if they weren't as close, he would have been gone. He would have been fired right after the Boston College game, I think. I would have at least. So what he did was he promoted him to like the second level of co-defensive coordinator. So he's not calling the shots, but he's still co-defensive coordinator. And they hired this guy from Toledo to be our main defensive coordinator, who I think is pretty good. Toledo's been pretty good in the MAC. I'm pretty excited about it. And if we can, if this DC can actually, run our defense properly, kind of bring some juice to the defense. If we have Steve Angeli, and I think that 5-star Calvin Russell is going to be playing quite a bit this season. And if we bring in if Angeli's not ready to go, and you know what, I want to give a shout out to Locked On Syracuse podcast. Jackson Holzer does a great job over there. He will probably never see this, but if you do, love your stuff, man. At Locked On, he was talking about, the quarterback situation. And if Angeli's not ready to go the first couple of games, you need to bring in someone that's capable of winning those first 3 or 4 games, which is New Hampshire, Toledo, UConn, and we're going to pull it up real fast. I know it's definitely UConn, New Hampshire, and Toledo to start out the year. Like, you get your one FCS team and you have a couple out of conference games. Yeah. And then who else? I think just those 3. So those 3 games right there, if Angeli's not ready to go from the start, you need someone that's going to be able to play at his level. But when you get into the ACC play and when Angeli comes back, be okay with riding the bench. And that's a tough sell. It really is. Like, you got to settle a guy. Yeah, we want to bring you on, but you're going to serve as our backup. You're going to be like Steve Angeli's insurance policy. I'm quoting Locked On Syracuse there. That's exactly the words he said, but it's the truth. I mean, that's a tough sell. It really is. Yeah. I don't know how many guys you're really going to sell with on that. Maybe the guy I know the quarterback from South Florida is in the portal. I know the quarterback from App State's in the portal, right? A couple guys that I know could possibly be that guy, but it's going to be a very tough sell, selling someone to basically be an insurance policy for Steve Angeli. It's going to be a tough sell. I think Fran can do it because he's been proven to be a great recruiter and a culture guy. Obviously, just, him being a head coach for only 2 years showed, and obviously a mismanagement of the quarterback room. That's all it is. I think they're going to be fine. People are obviously looking at us as like a bottom feeder just because of this season, because of how bad it went. But there's a lot more into it than just of what the surface level shows. There's a lot more factors. As a fan, you really get to look into it more. And I'm sure if some outside people really looked into the circumstances, they'd be like, oh, well, they should be a lot better next year then, because if Angeli's back and they're bringing in this class and they have a new defensive coordinator and all this stuff that is pointing to them not going 3-9 and having the absolute disaster of a season they had after the Clemson game. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think 7 or 8 wins possibly. Everyone's going to laugh at me just because of the season. But again, just look at the factors. You have to look at the factors. And as a fan and as everything else, like literally a top 30 class coming in, most of those guys are going to play too. You saw it this year. We had a 17-year-old starting at corner for us. So I think a good sell was, and we had a true freshman starting at linebacker, Antoine Delorier. You ever see the picture of like the really jacked recruit with Fran Brown? Like he's absolutely yoked. You know, picture him?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
That's Antoine Delorier. He is a stud, that kid. He's good. He's from Montreal, Canada. So he's actually really good. So new defensive coordinator, Angeli coming back, and the hopes that Fran Brown can sell to a guy to be a backup, a starting capable quarterback to be the backup for us. Yeah, it's going to be tough sell, but I think they can do it. And I think if you have Steve Angeli and an improved defense, you're going to be pretty good this year, to say the least. So, yeah, that's all I got. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of college football.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to add one thing before the college football for me. With the Mets, how I feel about them right now.
Oh my God, you didn't even go. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get. It's fine. I was gonna be quick. Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
With the Mets, they're. I'm not really impressed with anything they're doing right now. I'm not really.
Going to be either.
It is what it is. I'm not expecting anything this year. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this. I'm not going to be going to a game if the roster is gonna look the way it looks right now, which I know there's time, but I just don't believe that the roster is going to be that competitive this year. You could just tell the way the offseason is going so far. With the Jets, I just ride out the last 3 games. figure out who the players you think you have for the future, and go from there. Find yourself a new defensive coordinator. Seems like on offense, so they re-signed Josh Myers. He's been the center all year. He's been pretty good, actually. They re-signed him. So I like the proactive moves. I like going out there, re-signing him early so you don't have to worry about it. So he's on the team. Jeremy Ruckert, who's probably going to be, the tight end too, like he was this year behind Mason Taylor. He re-signed with the Jets, so you got him. The offensive line, same five that's played every single game this year. So they've been really, healthy. I think the only difference for me, if I was running the team, I would switch out John Simpson for Elijah Vera Tucker just because he's younger, and I think he's way more potential. Besides that, I would keep everyone else there. At wide receiver, I feel like, you got your number one. You don't have your number two, but you have maybe a 3 and 4 in Mechie and, A.D. Mitchell. They play pretty good. They've had some drops along the way, but they played okay. Tight ends, like I said, you have 2 tight ends. If you could sign Breece Hall, that's great. If not, you move on, you get someone else. And the quarterback is the biggest thing. That's what we got to go get. We got to go get a quarterback. And the defense, I think, needs more than half new starters. I don't see many starters on this defense right now that are currently on the roster. So you got some work to do, but you'll have cap space. You have plenty of draft picks. No excuse to not be a better team next year. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it's going to take another year, another 2 years. You have all the resources that you need to go into this offseason and go and get, legit players. You can trade for players. You can sign guys, maybe give them a little more money than the other teams can give because you have the ability and cap space to do that. If you have to overpay for 2 or 3 guys, it's not the end of the world, and you have over $100 million to work with. So you have pieces there, and you have some pieces there. You got to go get other pieces, but I'm not as out of it. Like, oh, this team is not going to be good next year. You should be competitive next year, and it depends who you get at quarterback. If you can go get yourself, a really good quarterback, that changes everything. Quarterbacks can hide a lot of the warts on some teams when they are, when they play really well. The Rangers, we talked about them before, just disappointing throughout the entire year. St. John's basketball, they're 6-3, I believe. They got their first Big East win last night against DePaul, who will probably be, once like they usually are, a bottom feeder of the Big East. But St. John's, I don't know if they're going to be able to, they'll make the tournament this year, but I don't think they're going to go very far. And that was the expectation coming in, but they're just lack of a point guard. They just don't have one, and it's tough to win, against the really good teams, and you don't have somebody on the floor that's able to, take control. They don't have that. The Knicks, great win last night against the Spurs, won the NBA Cup. We were live for that last night for the whole game. We had a few guests. It was a very fun show. I like what they're doing. I know you sent it to me on Instagram and everything like that, how they're not hanging up the banner. I agree with it. There's no reason to. You have you have bigger aspirations ahead. And that means, the NBA Finals. We want to win the NBA Finals. So you don't hang this banner up now. If you go and win the NBA Finals, you can hang up the NBA. Yeah, we won the NBA Cup. We won the Eastern Conference Finals, and we won the NBA Finals. That would be great, going into next summer. And that's what we want. But right now, hell no, do not hang that thing up. It's embarrassing to hang that up right now. I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything, but when you're a team that, you have the expectations and the ability to go win actual NBA Finals, you don't hang that up yet.
Right.
Notre Dame, I know we'll talk about it. I put one of the bullet points, but Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price both declared for the draft, which was expected. But the top 2 running backs are gone. They have running backs waiting to play. Aeneas Williams played a little bit this year. He was a 3rd string, but he's pretty good himself. And I'm sure they have other guys. They could probably go get some transfer portal guys as well. But so the Notre Dame should be pretty good again next year. Seems like the recruiting class is pretty good as well. CJ Carr will be back in the system for a 2nd year. So I think he could be in Heisman conversations next year if he develops the way he should. If he develops the way he should, he will be a Heisman candidate next year, which I think he can. He developed, from week 1 to the end of the year this year. So I think if he can keep that going, work in the offseason, come back, look great. And I think that'll be, and now he knows he's the guy, which last year, in the offseason, he had to work to get to that point. Now he knows this is my team. I'm the quarterback. It kind of takes a relief off of you a little bit when it's your team. So I like that. I like that a lot. But that's perfect. Let's go into college football here, where Fernando Mendoza was the Heisman Trophy winner. This was expected. I think he won Saturday night. The other guys were Jeremiah Love, Diego Pavia, and Julian Sayin. But Fernando Mendoza came away with it. Biggie is a huge fan of Fernando Mendoza and his Hoosiers. I think they play New Year's Day. So anyone that hasn't watched him much this year will get to watch him on the national stage.
Watch him.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not a hater of him. I just don't think it's because I'm a Jets fan. Like, talking from a Jets perspective, I don't think he will be worth trading a ton of picks to go and get. I just don't think he's worth that much.
And I'm one of the biggest Fernando Mendoza fans you probably know. I agree 100% in the Jets perspective, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like you can go and use those
first overall pick though.
Right. And I think that if you listen, you're the Jets, you have so many picks where you don't have to force it. Be like, oh, we have to get the first pick. You can do other things than just go and try to get the first pick of the draft. You don't have to, go and get Fernando Mendoza. Other news we had here was Dylan Raiola and DJ Lagway, among others, have gotten the QB transfer portal going, which is going to be off the hook. I mean, I would say even after these bowl games are over, I would expect more and more guys, to be in there as well. So, but Dylan Raiola, probably one of the bigger names. We'll see. So I'm curious to see where he'll go.
I am too. Texas Tech.
Oh, please. That would be funny. That would be something he probably would do, but
that'd be ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous. I want to see him in the SEC. See if he really, knows how to, if he can really play some football. Then the other bullet I just said, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price have declared. Chris Brazzell is also in the draft. Really good wide receiver, and a ton of Clemson players. They had 5 players or so all, go into the draft as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And more guys are going to keep going.
And I could tell you why. This could be me hating Clemson, but it after what happened this year, I do. And I think Dabo Swinney's just too far behind on everything. He hasn't adapted.
He's got to. I was going to say that he's got to adapt to what the the college environment is.
I don't think, even if those guys wanted to and they know the team's not going in a great direction, they'd rather save their draft stock now while they have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially with a Clemson team, they don't. They haven't been too great the past couple of years. So that I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Bowl updates. So let's do our bowl updates. I'll do the. Well, so they started last week, which I mentioned, but every game will be talked about here in terms of just the score. Like, there's some of these teams that were on there, like, why are they even in bowl games? How do they even make bowl games? But South Carolina State, they beat Prairie View A&M last Saturday. That was the first bowl game. They won 40-38. Washington beat Boise State 38-10. Washington. Yeah, I was gonna say Washington they were really good this year. Boise State was as well, but Washington in the Big Ten, they play great competition, and they kind of showed like, we're the big boy in this matchup, pretty much.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what they did. Jacksonville State beat Troy 17-13.
I was surprised with that one as well. I expected Troy to go in there and beat them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know too much about those teams. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't watch that much. Yeah, and then Old Dominion beat South Florida 24-10. That game
I was just watching that.
Right, I was going to say
that got chippy. I had it on during before it was on. Like, South Florida's guys were going after Old Dominions the whole game. Yeah, South Florida, man. You lose your head coach and your quarterback goes in the portal. That's it. That's the summarization of it right now. And Old Dominion is a team that wants to win a bowl game and played that bowl game to win that bowl game, and they did.
Good for Old Dominion. And in South Florida, they got a new coach, so I'm sure that roster was not, there was guys not playing and stuff like that.
No, and the quarterback transferred out too. So
yeah. So they didn't have their full team. And then Louisiana versus Delaware is actually going on right now.
They made a bowl game. First year after yes, they made a bowl game.
There we go. That's big. That's really big for them. You never know what they can get to.
Yeah. The quarterback for them is Nick Mitakuchi. I really hope that he doesn't. And one of his problems is he's very, very, very inconsistent. He throws a lot of picks. Even in their wins, he throws picks a lot. So I'm hoping that they can win this game. They just got to not turn the ball over. That's all they got to do.
Yeah. All right. And then I'll go through these matchups that will happen before we do our show again. We'll do it Tuesday because obviously Christmas Eve we're not going to be doing a show. But tomorrow night, Missouri State versus Arkansas State at 9:00. Friday. These are just the bowl games, and we'll do the CFP games after. But Friday morning, 11 a.m. action, Kennesaw State versus Western Michigan. That's gonna be Biggie. You might throw that game on your phone on the way here.
I will.
Yeah.
100%.
Then we got Memphis versus NC State. Monday we got the Idaho Potato Bowl, which I actually do watch that game just for the Potato Bowl, just to see them with potatoes. Washington State versus Utah State. So that the rest of the game, those are the games that will happen when in between our this show and the next show, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll update everyone on what exactly happened in between. But let's do the CFP schedule. I know I mentioned this earlier in the show, but if anyone that missed it, we will be doing our brackets, which will be posted Friday afternoon because Friday night is the first game. So we won't give who we think is going to win these games just yet. We won't say who's going to win. We'll just do the matchups, and then you guys will have to wait till Friday. So stay tuned for that. My bracket, Biggie's bracket, Jet Specialist Ryan, his bracket, and then CT will come up with his bracket as well. So
Delaware scored. Let's go.
Delaware touchdown. There we go. So it's 7-0.
6 now. Well, it's about
they just 7-0.
51-yard touchdown run.
There we go. Okay, so a little live update there from Biggie. Delaware up 7-0 to start the game. But let's do the schedule here. So Friday night, what we can do, we can break down the game. We just won't give.
Sure, we won't give our prediction.
We'll save that. We'll keep some suspense for the viewers. But Oklahoma versus Alabama Friday night at 8:00. Oklahoma is hosting this game because they're the 8 seed. Alabama's the 9 seed. This is a game where Oklahoma played Alabama already. They beat them. I don't know if that means anything, just because it's very hard to beat a team twice. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be a great matchup, though. Great matchup. We already seen it
for this game. Yes.
And the winner does play the number 1 seed Indiana, so that's a tough thing after they get through this game. Which is, I think this game is going to be a dogfight to the end. This is going to be really,
I agree.
Especially Oklahoma. Oklahoma's defense, one of the top in the country, so they don't play around. Alabama seems to like they've gotten more physical throughout the year. So I think this is going to be, a back and forth game.
I also want to bring up a point real quick. I think this kind of goes to the point some people make that conference championship games don't mean anything because, in cases like the Big Ten and the SEC, both teams are going to make the playoffs. I know Bama was kind of an in and out type deal, but I think they knew they weren't going to. I think they knew they were going to make the playoff.
They probably did.
They knew. So
they probably did.
That's not the Bama we know. We saw them play the regular season. They're going to look a little different, I think. So we'll see. But obviously we know Oklahoma's defense is very good. So we will see how that goes.
I think the key factor in this whole game is how many points can the Oklahoma offense put up. I think that's the big question. How many can they actually put up? The next matchup, we're going, order of when these games actually happen. Miami versus Texas A&M. I think it's going to be another really, really good game. Yes. Miami is a 10 seed on the road in one of the toughest environments, in the nation. Both teams, pretty good. Miami, they got in at the last day. Texas A&M was a lock. Their only loss was to Texas, which was the last week of the year, because Texas A&M would be a higher seed, if they won that game. But Miami, really, really good team as well. But any thoughts on this matchup? Which, me and Biggie are gonna be watching all these games together, so we're really diving in deep into these matchups.
Yeah, A&M, Kyle Field's a tough place to play. I mean, that's a very tough place to win.
It is.
Miami, I think they're going to be fired up a little bit because they got in the playoff. This should be a lot better of a game than people think. But Kyle Field is a tough place to play, and Miami being in a weaker conference, which I'll admit as a fan of a team in that conference, it's something they really haven't seen. But the Miami offense could do damage. We've seen it.
Yeah, Carson Beck, depends what Carson Beck shows up. He played in the SEC, so he knows what he's going to experience.
All right, yeah, that's
the thing I think people need to take into account. He's been in these environments before, so that's something to keep in the back of your head in terms of these games. And I think the first 2 games will be the best game, just because I know the group of 5, they have to be included, but these next 2 matchups probably aren't going to be the greatest. Tulane already played Ole Miss and they lost 45-10. So I wouldn't expect that game to be, probably a little more competitive, but I wouldn't expect it to be close.
I think it's going to be a lot more competitive. I know people
you think so?
I just think Ole Miss, after the whole thing with Lane Kiffin, is going to be down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is the Ole Miss team that we saw at that time.
I agree, but I think you probably agree with me on this. They're just obviously they're the more talented team in this game.
Oh, 100%. But this isn't going to be a blowout type game. Don't expect that.
Okay.
That's just
all right.
Don't expect that.
All right. And then the last game we got is JMU, James Madison, taking on Oregon Saturday night at 7:30. This one, Biggie, might be a blowout.
Yeah, this might be a pretty bad game. This might be rough.
Yeah.
JMU, obviously, they deserve their way in just because of the conference rule. They won their conference. You know what I mean? That's just, how it is. Obviously, some things probably should be changed with the way that is because you don't want to see games like this year in, year out. But, JMU, good for them. They played a really good season. They won one of the better group of 5 conferences, I'd say, honestly. Honestly, not a very easy conference in the group of 5. So props to them. Again, that's the conference rule. That's how that works. But I just think Oregon's too good. I really like Oregon. And
really good team, yeah.
It might be a little different. You know what I mean? It might be a little difference in talent there.
Definitely. JMU plays Oregon. Winner of that would play Texas Tech. Alabama versus Oklahoma. Winner of that would play Indiana. Tulane versus Ole Miss. Winner of that plays Georgia. And then Miami, Texas A&M. Winner of that plays Ohio State. Next week we'll break down, the what happened in these matchups, and then what the preview, we can preview them as well. But we don't have to go too much into the preview just because it's going to be another week before they actually do play each other. So we got to keep that in mind as well. But yeah, our brackets will be out Friday afternoon at some point. So keep an eye on that. And then we'll keep track. And let's do the pick'em here, which is obviously connected to this. So if anyone, like I said, missed in the beginning, CFP. So between me and Biggie, we're going to have the 4 brackets out there. But for me and Biggie, in terms of our standings, whoever has the more points, we'll do it on ESPN. Whoever has more points by the end of this will get 3 wins or 3 losses. Whoever has more gets 3 wins. Obviously, whoever has less gets 3 losses. And then this week, we'll do Packers versus Bears, which is Saturday night. We talked about that, how big that game is. Bucks versus Panthers, how big that game is in terms of the NFC South. Who the hell is going to win that division? And then the Steelers versus the Lions, 2 8-6 teams. Steelers looking to wrap up a division. Lions looking to run the table to try to make the postseason. So I try to pick the hardest games I can find for this week in the NFL, and I think I did. But it's standings. I'm 18-13. Biggie is 11-20. So the little bit of separation here. So Biggie he comes up with a big week here. It can kind of narrow the field a little bit, or we may have the same picks and the standings may be the same. We don't know just yet. But let's do Packers versus Bears. Who we think is going to win this one? We'll give both of ours, and then we'll move on to the next game just to make it easier. But Biggie, who you got for this one?
Bears. I just think like I talked about it earlier with seeing the difference in the defense after a week of preparation without Micah. But I just think the Bears they're too good. They've been proven to prove everyone wrong because for weeks and weeks. Oh, the Bears, this is it where they finally fall off. This is it. They haven't. They've proven week in and week out that they're good. That Caleb Williams is good. That run game they have is very, very good, and I think that's going to be a big factor in this one. So I'm taking Chicago.
All right, I agree. I'm going to go with the Bears as well. I like you said, everyone's trying to find a reason why they're not going to win games or why they're not going to make the playoffs, and they keep finding ways to win in different ways. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they go out there, their defense dominates to get a ton of picks. Their offense have the amount of weapons. I don't think people realize how many weapons the Bears have on that offense. They have DJ Moore when Rome Odunze's healthy. They have Luther Burden. They have Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai. They have 7 weapons, and there's probably more I'm forgetting right now off the top of my head. Plus a really good offensive line. Caleb Williams is coming into his own. And then on defense, they're a machine in terms of turnovers. It's unreal.
Yeah,
I think they have a stat I saw. 3 of the top 5 guys in terms of turnovers. It's unreal.
Unreal.
It really is. And I think, like you said, the Parsons loss can be very deflating for the Packers this week. Next game we have is the Bucks versus the Panthers. Biggie, who do we got? Buccaneers or Panthers?
This is a really tough pick.
Tough.
I have to go with the Bucks. I think they've been losing too much. I think this is where they bounce back, especially because the Panthers losing this previous game.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I think that the Bucks. I agree with everything you're saying in terms of, listen, the Bucks lost 2 in a row. They're a veteran team. They're too good to not, win the division. But I don't know. Maybe it's getting a little too late for Carolina. Carolina's home. They play really well at home. They beat the good teams at home. I think everything is going for them right now. But, it could be either team. But I'm going to go with the Panthers. So we got a little bit of a difference there. And then the last game we have is the Steelers versus the Lions. Biggie, who do we got for this 425 matchup?
This is another really tough pick because this is the point of the year where the Steelers start playing really well. And the Lions, I don't know what's going on with them. They've been off and on weird. Man, this is really tough. I don't know. This is a coin flipper. Yeah, when they say coin flippers, this is honestly one of the biggest ones I've had to pick on the show so far this NFL season. Oh my God. Because there's a lot that goes into both matchups, but I just think the Lions are more capable. Give me the Lions.
Me too. I agree. I think that the Lions are more desperate as well right now. The Steelers, listen, the Steelers haven't won the division yet, but I feel like they have more of a cushion or room for error. The Lions, like I said, I've been saying it the whole show, they do not have that room for error, so I think the Lions will win as well. So I have the Bears, Panthers, and Lions. Biggie's got the Packers. Biggie has the Bears, Bears, Bucks, and Lions. I had I was fumbling my words a little bit there.
There you go. You got it.
I got the Bears, Panthers, and Lions. Biggie has the Bears, Bucks, and Lions. So we got one difference that can sway the standings a little bit as we get closer to the end of December. Biggie, any final thoughts we have here on another, I think, terrific show that we had? Comment section, guys arguing with each other about I don't know what, but the things were going on.
Not even sports, not even anything we're talking about.
I don't know what was going on in the comment section today, but any thoughts you have here, and then I'll give my little final close up here.
No, I got nothing. Just come follow me to my Mario Kart stream after this. I don't think there's anyone on right now, but yeah, if you are here, come follow me there.
Yeah, I think everyone cleared out after we started talking about our picks because we're not too good at them. I think that was like the
yeah, right.
But yeah, if anyone isn't doing anything after this, you got 10 minutes before Biggie's going to start up his Wii live stream. So those are always fun, especially his comment section might be worse than what we've been experiencing the last 2 days. But yeah, it's been a fun last couple of days. The Knicks stream last night, episode 84 tonight. Next week we'll be back, so it'll be December 23rd. So right before Christmas Eve and Christmas, we'll do a Tuesday night episode, recap the college football games, NFL, of course, with playoff picture is going to take even more shape. I'm sure the MLB is going to come up with a ton of news. We'll get back into some NBA talk, NHL stuff. So a lot going on. But yeah, that'll do it for episode 84. We want to thank everyone for liking us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Keep doing it. And yeah, TJ Productions is going live again in 10 minutes. Make sure you guys tune in.
Yes, come watch.